The problem is, Egypt did have its flaws, right? So let's talk about the bad and probably the ugly combined into one. So the title of the video obviously is The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, so let's get into that. Now, we were obviously told when you come here to Egypt, you're going to be studying in English, right? Because, you know, you're foreign students, so you get this privilege and all the lecturers speak English fluently and, you know, everything that you do will be done in English and you won't have to worry about Arabic at all, blah, blah, blah. They lied, yeah? Okay, they lied, right? Now, I'm outing the uni here. They don't care, right? Because I'm gone, so I can say what I want. I want to be truthful. Because anybody out there that's thinking about going abroad to Egypt to study, let me be real with you. Now, there are certain professors, lecturers, doctors, whatever you want to call them, that are super nice, super helpful, okay? I'm not, you know, painting them all with the same brush here. They will go out their way to help you. They will give you separate classes. Dr. Karma, for example, she used to give us separate classes in English on a Monday morning for oral pathology, which is the reason we passed. So thank you to her. But not everyone does that. Not everyone's got the time for it. And to be fair, not everyone cares. We kind of felt that a few lecturers kind of preferred if we didn't turn up and just got notes off of like friends and stuff. Because what that meant was they didn't have to like force themselves to speak English for our sake. So it was this like weird dynamic that we had, that we kind of knew like it's better for us to not turn up to like lectures and seminars, get the notes from our friends and then just study for the exams, but attend obviously the practicals. So anybody who's thinking of going abroad, just bear that in mind, okay? Like I've heard that they've stepped it up now and they're kind of speaking a bit more English. I don't know how much truth there is in that, no idea. But that's the thing. I think for our experience on it, it was a dodgy one, man. Like we did struggle with the exams. Not gonna lie. I mean, we passed them all, which is why we're here now on a transfer. But for real, we definitely struggled because you're trying to understand the whole curriculum, whole syllabus of each subject without any like input from doctors and stuff, which is, you know, that's not what uni students are used to, right? So yeah, it was something that I would say anybody who's going to go abroad to Egypt to study, be careful, be mindful. You will get great practical experience, but you will struggle unless you know the language. If you're dedicated to your studies, it's doable. I'm not bashing it entirely, but that was probably the first kind of white lie that we were fed. Beyond that, then we were told, like, kind of on a year-to-year basis, that I am standing in front of a school, I think. Better not stand there, it's going to look creepy as hell. It's Christmas though, why are they kids? That's weird. I'm walking. Now for medicine, it's a bit different. For medicine, they have an entire year group, which is English-speaking students. Because they have a lot of guys and girls that come from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, other African countries. And medicine's always going to be bigger than dentistry. Well, it just is. It's just the way it is, right? So they can facilitate that quite easily. But with dentistry, because they don't really have the people for it that come abroad for them to set up these classes, it's never going to happen, right? So it's definitely one of those things that if you are capable of speaking Arabic or you're happy to just work alone and do a lot of self-study, it's cool. Go to Egypt, no problem, right? Another bad thing, the bureaucracy. My God. Probably going to put over here definition of bureaucracy. For anybody who doesn't know, right? But mate, systems and paperwork. These lot love it. They love it. And it's ridiculous because you know what? Like, just get a computerized system. It'll save you so much headache. They just don't do it. But with this, I could give you an example, right? So when we first arrived, we had to go to an office of education for foreign students in Nasser City, right? When we went there, they took all of our documents, all of our paperwork, yada yada. And it took them months to sign us off. Eventually they signed us off, which is fine. But then when we wanted to leave, my God, man. It was, I mean, it's giving me nightmares thinking about it now. So, we had to pay $1,800. Dollars, bear in mind, yeah? This is another problem in Egypt. We had to pay in dollars just to leave the uni. Like, we're not even joining for the next year, the next semester or anything, but they want us to pay to leave. Now, you can't pay in dollars in a country where you can't get dollars, because Egypt's kind of like stopped, trading in dollars and all the rest. They've got the weird policies going on at the moment, right? But you can't get your hands on dollars unless you go to like the black market. And the rate for dollars in the black market is insane, like really high. So you're basically being mugged, right? Broad daylight, you're being mugged at a stupidly high price to buy dollars and then give them into this Ministry of Education for Foreign Students. And they're obviously raking it in just to get your paperwork back. And then beyond that, by the way, just to let you know, the extent to which I had to go to get those dollars, I had to go to Greece. It's the closest like European country, like Athens, to Egypt, right? I had to go to Greece to get my dollars. It worked out cheaper to buy the ticket to go to Greece and back and get the dollars from the airport than it was to try to get it on the black market. So that's just some perspective for you. Now, the paperwork, as I said, bureaucracy and systems and people and, I'm not the person responsible for this. Speak to this guy, speak to that guy. We ended up getting our permission slip from this ministry that we could leave after we paid them the money. Now, they took our money, they gave us a slip, we gave it to our uni. Then the uni says, we need another slip. And then, we need this. Now you need to go to this other office. I need to get this signed off by this guy. Now you need to go to the bank and pay us money for leaving. It wasn't a lot, but it was still something, yeah? The point is, it was non-stop. It was constant. It was go to him, speak to him, go to her, speak to her, tell him that I sent you, he's not here today, come back tomorrow. And nothing was done by email. You couldn't email anyone. So you can't sit there and say, right, I'm emailing that person that you mentioned, they'll get it done. Just don't accept it. There is no system for emailing. There's no system for like having things on a on a database or anything. There's just no such thing. It's entirely it's just crazy in this day and age, man. So nothing's easy out there. Nothing is straightforward, and especially because we don't speak the language, it's a nightmare, absolute nightmare. Okay, patience. I did say you get a lot of practical work, and you do. Patients obviously are anybody who comes in for free healthcare from a student is desperate. And if they're desperate, that means they don't really have much disposable finance, right? It's a nice spot, isn't it? Good lighting, man. Just stay here for a bit. So they might not have good financial or disposable income, meaning I think I might move actually. Kids coming. I don't want to look like I'm like filming kids. That'd be odd. So these people are in the nicest way possible. I'm not trying to disrespect them at all, but in the nicest way possible, right? They are poor, right? They come from lower socio-economic classes, and they come in by the droves, in minibuses and stuff, to the university to get their teeth done by students. So they know they're not paying for it, and they're not expecting much. They're happy to do it. Problem with that is, nobody is speaking English out of these guys. Now, at least with the doctors, you can kind of speak to them, you can get by and all the rest of it. But these guys, they are Egyptian. Like when I say there's Egyptians, then there's Egyptians. These are those, right? These are the hardcore Egyptian people, right? And it's a good luck speaking to them. A good luck, getting them to open their mouths and staying sat in one place and not flinching during anesthesia or anything. Like, it's not easy, dude. Like, it's a bit of a struggle. Finding patients, therefore, then is more of a struggle because you have to speak to them, ask them what their case is. You're going out to waiting rooms. So you're not just sat there in a classroom and people are coming to you and saying, you know, you've got a case today of doing a filling. This is somebody who needs a filling. It's like you have to go out into the waiting rooms and ask, I need somebody who needs a filling in like an upper molar or something, for example, or a root canal in a lower central incisor. You have to find that case. You can only do that if you speak the language, yeah? Or you've got good friends around you, like we had, to help out. So some of the cons there. Okay, I mentioned earlier the weather is great. The weather is also terrible. Okay, sounds weird, but just is the truth. In the summer, we were hitting temperatures of about 45 degrees Celsius. Now that's what the weather tells you, the weatherman, right? However, that ain't the truth, because in Egypt it is packed full of people, packed. So you've got the heat from human bodies, you've got heat from everybody cooking outside, you've got the heat from the cars, and obviously reflecting and bouncing off of everywhere. It's all muggy, it's all contained. I would say easy 50 degrees plus. It's killer. The summer is insanely disgusting. We would change our body clocks to basically wake up at night and go to sleep in the morning just to avoid the heat. Power outages. So the country was going through, especially last year, or this year, sorry, the country was going through quite a bit of let's say economic turmoil. They were struggling with their money basically, a lot of debt and all the rest of it. So they started doing this thing where per region of Cairo, they would turn the electricity off for 2 hours a day. So it would be like 2 hours maybe in this city, and then, or this town or this area, and then they'd get their electricity back, and then 2 hours would apply to the next neighboring town or whatever it might be. This happened every day. So anybody who's running AC in their house in the summer was screwed. And if your timing was terrible, like we were lucky, right? So we had hours at 5 to 7. So we used to, you know, I would say I'd get up around 5 o'clock when the AC kind of cut off, and then got out of the house ASAP, and then just went somewhere that had AC, that was out of town or out of the area. And that's how I kind of survived, and then came home. But spare a thought for those guys that had the power outages, let's say 2 a.m. at night, and the AC was just cut off. Insanity, absolute insanity. So, you know, there was that aspect to it. It was super crowded. So anybody who's claustrophobic, you're not going to enjoy it. It's super busy, it's rowdy, it's noisy, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. It really is. Like, for real, if you're not like with it, if you're not in the moment, if you're not present, it's going to be a struggle. Like, you kind of really have to be, you know, super aware all the time and be very savvy. I don't want to sound sexist here. I'm going to be straight with you guys. But if you're a girl looking to go to Egypt to study alone, think twice. Okay, it's and this is with all due respect to Egyptians and to Egypt as a country, but a lot of the people there can be very womanizing. They can be quite forward. They're friendly, don't get me wrong, they're very friendly, but they're quite forward. And people may find that a bit weird, daunting, disrespectful. So for anybody who's thinking of going out there, who's a female, who's not experienced that kind of stuff before, I'm not going to say, oh, you know, if you're not thick-skinned, I'm not judging in that sense, just saying, be very wary of it. Because the guys out there can be extremely forward. By the way, I'm just walking round in circles at this point, because I'm close to home, and I don't want to walk too far. So I'll probably do a video about Slovakia, Košice, how I'm finding that in comparison to Egypt, and maybe the good, the bad, the ugly of this place as well. But kind of to wrap it off, I think, you know, 4 months away from Egypt, I never thought I was going to miss it. I think I was adamant in saying that as well to my friends. I was like, I'm never going to miss this place. I'm done with it. I hate it. Never want to come back, right? But now that the dust has settled, it's been 4 months, and you start remembering the positive stuff. Yeah, I miss the people out there. They were lovely. Yeah, I miss the food. I miss the way everything was priced. It was super cheap. And the culture, less so here, I would say. So yeah, am I missing it? A little bit. I'm not crying over it. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't change and go back to Egypt and carry on my studies there. But I guess, you know, it's one of those for the memories, and And this is kind of like a thank you video to everybody that was out there, and also a warning video to anybody who's thinking to go out there. Go for it. It's worth it if you can tick those boxes that I mentioned earlier about, you know, not being worried about the language, for example, or the people, or the style of studies, and all the rest of it. If you're happy with all that sort of stuff, go for it, man. Like, don't hold back. It's a super cool experience. Like, it's one thing that I'll definitely remember for the rest of my life. I've learned a lot from. I'll be able to tell my kids about it, if I ever have any. And then, you know, I could definitely say that I learned a lot from there as well, especially like in the practical element now. And with my handwork now in Slovakia, I would say is probably better than average, right? Whereas in Egypt, it was not very good, right? So the difference is quite apparent. It's definitely one of those things that if I could take anything away from there, I'd say I'm thankful for the level of education I was exposed to, and obviously the practical work as well, which is helping now, and obviously will help in the future as well. But yeah, the good friendships, I still try to keep in touch with the guys still, and I wanted to say again from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of you. And if I have been a bit quiet recently, it's only because we had exams. We still have exams, believe it or not. It's just Christmas break in between exams. And yeah, I guess, you know, I don't want to over complicate this video. Just want to keep it nice and chill. And I'm almost home. So I will lock it off there, tuning in. I'm in the road. Oh, actually, was I in the road? I wasn't in the road. I think I was saying goodbye to someone. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and please do comment, please do subscribe. It helps the channel more than you think. I don't really have that many subs, so the more I get, the more people get this kind of information. So please do, please share it, and I will hopefully see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.